Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time it's for Titanfall 2. Now let's see how much this game has improved over its predecessor. If you're not familiar with the core gameplay of Titanfall, I'm pretty sure a lot of the PlayStation 4 players aren't too familiar. Here's a brief overview of it. Pretty much it has the speed of Call of Duty with wall running, double jumping, so pretty much parkour, and also big controllable mechs called Titans. Players in the role of pilots can earn their Titans by waiting a certain amount of time that can be shaved off by killing enemies and capturing objectives. And then that brings it to another plane of fighting, Titans versus Titans, or even Titans versus pilots, because pilots do have anti-Titan countermeasures. Now let's start with the biggest addition in Titanfall 2, the single player. Here's a brief synopsis of the story. You play as former infantryman Jack Cooper after he's been given the rank pilot and his very own Titan by another high-ranking pilot who is dying. Jack Cooper and his Titan BT then go on a mission to uncover the IMC's plot to use a doomsday device to destroy the militia's home planet known as Harmony. Our heroes then have to fight through hired mercenaries who have their very own Titans in order to stop the IMC. Simply put, the campaign was great. It really held itself together very well with the gameplay and the great writing. It was short, however, but I felt that it was very sweet. I will say the campaign actually became pretty addicting to finish, and I will definitely find myself returning back to it again to collect the helmets and beat it at a higher difficulty. Now, if you're a new player, I would highly suggest investing some time into the campaign before going online, as it does a pretty good job of showing you the options the Titans have, the weapons, and the movement system that you'll be using. Going along with the movement system, I felt that Respawn Entertainment did a fantastic job of implementing the platforming with the shooting mechanics. It can feel a bit like a Modern Warfare campaign at times, but it doesn't bog down this game. At one point, there's actually this really cool gameplay mechanic that was unfortunately only used for that one level. It had a lot of potential too, to even maybe be its own spin-off game, or even a separate game entirely. As for the story, I felt like it was not too typical. It did have a doomsday device, yes, but I'd say it was a pretty unconventional one. I was also happy that there were no lengthy cutscenes. Most were done in first person, and Jack Cooper, his dialogue with BT happened while on the move. There are many points in the campaign where you could choose between two dialogue options that were between Jack Cooper and BT. It reminded me a lot of Terminator 2 with the dialogue between John and the Terminator and kind of that relationship growing and the Terminator kind of becoming a little more human. Overall, the dialogue was pretty enjoyable. However, I do wish they developed more on the Titan character, BT, because I feel like they could have done more with conversations between Jack and BT. The ending of the campaign definitely was open for a sequel, as there were some antagonists left to cause trouble. Usually FPS campaigns are really mediocre, especially in recent years, but this one definitely exceeded my expectations. I could compare it very close to Call of Duty Modern Warfare's campaign. I would say very close to being as endearing as that one, but I will definitely remember Titanfall 2's campaign.
BT! Got you.
As for the graphics, I would say they're decent. I was on the Xbox One version, by the way. I didn't see a real improvement from the original, and unfortunately a few textures while looking up close were quite blurry and low quality, but it didn't make the game look ugly. I also enjoyed the alien scenery. Speaking of Alien, I really wish they added more indigenous creatures to fight. I really miss those big tall things called Leviathans, and if they did more with the alien creatures, it would expand the game universe and even create some new gameplay opportunities. Moving into the other 90% of Titanfall 2, the multiplayer does see some improvements, but with a few minor complaints. After playing a number of hours in the multiplayer, I felt like that it had some balancing issues, but hopefully those will be fixed with patches. The next thing is the health of the extraction ship during the epilogue. If you don't already know, if you lose a multiplayer match, you have the chance to get away in a shuttle, but that shuttle can be destroyed by the opposing players. I feel as though the health for the extraction ship is just too low. When you barely survive getting to it and then you get blown up in the end, it's very frustrating. I would say they should either give it more health, have it leave sooner, or do not allow any new Titans to spawn. Or heck, even allow the pilots to have a better chance at fighting back, because you don't get much movement and you can't shoot too well when you're on the extraction ship. To me, it was one of the best things about the multiplayer, because even if you lose a game, it was still very satisfying to quote-unquote survive and fight another day. In the original, no matter how many times I lost, this feature kept me coming back again and again. On the topic of losing, to avoid it, you absolutely need to play in teams with friends if possible. Titanfall 2 does take teamwork to win, more so than a typical Call of Duty game. The thing is, the Titans are so evenly matched that you need at least one other friendly Titan or another pilot to coordinate in order to guarantee a winning fight. After some time looking at the cosmetic features of multiplayer, I could tell that Respawn took some ideas from Modern Warfare 2 with the challenges that unlock emblems, banners, camos, and Titan decals. It's something the first game had little of, so I'm glad that they have more of that in Titanfall 2. And hopefully it'll tribute to keeping the game alive a bit longer. That being said, I'm still concerned about the game's longevity. A few days ago, out of curiosity, I started up Black Ops 1. Mind you, Black Ops 1 from 2010, and I saw that it only had a few thousand less players than Titanfall 2 had. And to go along with that, the sales figures for Titanfall 2 were quite low as well. But there is a bright side. EA has stated that they will release all upcoming DLC for free. Yeah, I know. That is just unheard of by them. But it definitely eases my worry a lot. Moving forward, the burn cards from the original game have sadly been removed, as they are now replaced by power-ups that can be activated when the player reaches a certain percentage of their Titan drop. To unlock the rest of those power-ups and all the other items in Titanfall 2, players must go through a very typical leveling progression system. But they can also be unlocked early by using in-game currency. The money is quite slow to acquire after matches, so it does take time. Let's just hope that this doesn't become a microtransaction exploitation. To me, the lack of cards was a tad disappointing, but I have no real unbiased complaints on the new system. I think it works very well for Titanfall 2. Now into the actual game modes. Here's a quick overview of each. Attrition is like Team Deathmatch, but any kills count. However, enemy Titan kills score significantly more points. Bounty Hunt is where the score is based off of money, and players can earn money by killing enemies and designated targets, with players also being able to earn more money by depositing it in one of two places called banking stations. Amped Hardpoint is pretty much Call of Duty's domination, but you can over-capture positions to earn double points. Then we have Pilots vs. Pilots, Capture the Flag, Last Titan Standing, and Free For All, and they're all pretty much self-explanatory. Next up we have Mixtape, which is just a random assortment of all the real game modes, and there's also a version of that with 8 players on each side. Lastly, we have one-on-one pilot duel mode called CALLSIGN, and for some strange reason, players have to buy a ticket with the in-game currency to even play a match. Granted, I do find the game mode very fun, I just find it odd that you have to buy a ticket just to get in. On the plus side, a ticket only costs 10 credits, so you can easily earn that back within 3 or 4 games. Players can also receive a ticket and what is called an advocate gift, but only if they're lucky, as an advocate gift can also contain a random cosmetic item too. With all the game modes present in Titanfall 2, I honestly feel like there could be more. Like, here's an idea, how about a pilot race? You have this cool, fast, parkour movement system, and what better way to show that than to have a race between the pilots? Make it so they can't kill each other and have to run around a map going to different checkpoints. And I think a mode like that could have a lot of potential too. The multiplayer also has more weapons and Titan options overall, but there are minor restrictions on the Titans that I feel like balance the game more. Alright, I know it seems like I've said quite a few negative things about Titanfall 2. Those negative things could actually be fixed with a patch. Looking at the multiplayer from a broad scope, the positive aspects overshadow the negative ones to make them just minor complaints. Once again, Respawn Entertainment has done an amazing job designing maps that use verticality for the very fun and smooth parkour gameplay. Melding this perfectly with the shooting mechanics makes for a game that never lets up on its intensity or fun. And even when you lose, there's the brilliant idea of at least getting away with your life, making a defeat much less discouraging and more motivating to keep playing. And then you have the Titan battles. Those can be extremely gripping as they can make for some clutch kills and some very close escapes. Titanfall 2 also features many unique pilots and titans to fight with, making it so you have to keep your wits about you no matter where you are. And if you couldn't already tell, there are AI soldiers running amok, adding to the already chaotic battle. If you like FPS games and playing online, this game is essential to have. It is also great that Titanfall 2 features dedicated servers, and I forgot to mention this, but there is a private game option, but oddly enough, it's in beta. I would say that there hasn't been a huge improvement on the multiplayer, but there is certainly a noticeable one. Playing this game again reminded me of how innovative the original one truly was. Titanfall 2 may not feel quite as fresh as the original, but it is a sequel, and it's still very, very fun at that. Overall, Titanfall 2 has a great campaign mode with extremely fun multiplayer that has some big improvements. I do have some minor complaints, sure, but this is a great, fun FPS experience. While not earning a perfect score, Titanfall 2 stands a fair bit taller than its predecessor. It earns a 4 out of 5. I just hope that this game survives at least another full year longer. Alright, so that's gonna do it for my Titanfall 2 review. If you enjoyed the review, hit the like button. And if you have friends or family who are on the fence about buying this game, please share this with them. In fact, Target is selling Titanfall 2 for $35 during their Black Friday sale, so show it to them soon. That'll be it for me, and I will see you all next Sunday.